Guys, one more time. Bill and Troy from Mastodon right here. Come on.
I know that, dude.
Guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Congratulations on this album. It doesn't come out till March 31st, right?
That's right.
So you guys don't get to hear it yet. But I did get to hear it, and I have to tell you, I loved it. It's incredible. Thank you so much for this. I want to talk to you a little bit. Let's jump right on into it, okay? Emperor of Sand. There's always been, in all of your work, themes or dominant sort of ideas that come up and repeat. But I don't think since Leviathan really have I seen this clear a concept and like straight, like this is a story. This is a concept album, really. At least when I was listening to it and from what I've seen. So tell us a little bit about the story of this album, about Emperor of Sand.
It's loosely based on the idea of time. There's a lot of other elements that went into this, and it kind of directly reflects the past 2 years of Bill's life, my life, and our other two members, Bron Daler and Brent Hines. The four of us kind of reflect on what we've been living, and we use these very real things to channel into what we create with Mastodon. So it's always, it tends to be on the darker side a lot of times, but we try to churn that through this music and ultimately have something positive come through at the end. But it's also very open to interpretation, and all four of us in the band have slightly different takes on what the album means to us. And we always hope that the listener has their own journey and their own interpretation of it also.
Well, for sure. I mean, there's tons of metaphorical things being said here and done. I wrote down some of the lyrics that kind of stuck out. Like on Sultan's Curse, you've got tired and lost, no one to trust, who is there to give the push, memories of loved ones are passing me by.
Yeah.
You want to speak to that one a little bit? I saw you pull the
Well,
mic.
that one was directly from a close one of ours that was dealing with a cancer diagnosis. And it's a very relatable topic. I think a lot of people might know someone or have that we've loved or lost or is fighting it or going through it or have prevailed through it. And at the time I wrote those lyrics over this song, that the Sultan's Curse that Bill wrote, was kind of getting to a point where it was nearly hitting the wall, and it's almost giving up on something that's very important. And before you quit, you know, you're tired and lost. You're getting information from various doctors that is not very positive. There's no one to trust. You're getting false, indifferent information. Who's there to give the push? What is there to muster through this and to continue fighting and giving everything you have? So that particular paragraph that you just asked about was dealing with something that brutal. And but at the end, it comes through, and we're here to talk about this today, so it's a good thing.
For sure, and that's kind of one of the amazing things about this album is that it is a ride. It takes you very highs and very low lows, and it is brutal at times, but it's a hell of a journey. There's another great time, or a great line rather, that says, "Don't waste your time, don't let it slip away from you, don't waste your time if it's the last thing you do." Yep. And I'm taking these things out of context, of course. They're all within a much larger story that's being told here, but the reason I'm pulling them out is because I do feel that they work so well within that story, but also there's something there, there's a message there, there's a greater thing there. They can be interpreted.
This record, you know, to me is very personal. You know, I had a very big hand in writing it, and my mother got very sick right when I started writing it with cancer, so that's the Sultan's Curse is being handed a death sentence, basically. And, you know, don't waste your time, don't let it slip away from you. It's kind of, to me, because we all interpret it differently, but to me it's, you know, I watched my mom, you know, go from a healthy person and she passed away, you know, and there were so many things in her life that she didn't do. So to me, I take away from it, like, don't waste your time. Like, if there's something you really want to do, a trip you want to take, you want to rebuild your house, you want to put new floor, carpeting, and whatever, something simple as that, like, do it now, because you never know.
Right. Tomorrow
might not be there. You know, it's kind of a carpe diem sensibility. Yeah, for sure.
Well, for sure, and I think what it results in, you guys, it's clearly a deeply personal album, and you put a lot into it, and you guys all lean very heavily into the process, and I believe it was described once as you put everything in that box, right? Mastodon is that place that you guys can all kind of go to. And I want to talk a little more about that too, but also, Bill, I know you have like a pretty rad studio down in your basement where you guys bust out the demos and stuff, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So,
we built that, and that's where we'd go every morning for months and just, you know, for me, it was, you know, I had to get my mind on something else rather than, you know, my mom getting really sick, which,
for sure.
You know, really got me through and just, I think, made the best songs come out of me and just forced me to do it. But, you know, as far as like the lyrical content and, you know, the storyline, with this album, it was really like the elephant in the room, cancer, and you know, people getting sick, because everybody can relate to that, you know. And our fans have a real emotional attachment to our music, and especially when we write about something that's from the heart and that's from the soul and that's real and it touches everybody's life, you know, or death, you know. It's a sad subject, but it was like the elephant in the room. Like, well, obviously we should take all these feelings that we're all having, because we were all affected in our own ways with personal, you know, friends of ours, family members getting sick at the same time. And it was like, you know, we're getting to that age where we're seeing our parents pass away, we're seeing friends, you know, pass away, and it was just too real and too obvious not to write about that, but, you know, metaphorically, so that way when it's therapeutic for the person, for the listener, they can interpret it in whatever way they feel it. You know, they're like, I know there's a place when I'm feeling depressed or feeling sad, there's certain records that I reach for, and I say, well, this is kind of like my medicine. I'm going to listen to the Deftones' White Pony record or whatever. To me, it's very, I have an emotional attachment to it, even though I might not understand all the lyrics and what they're saying, but to me, I do. Like, you know what I mean? Big old Jeff left the light on, you know, that kind of, sure. It's like, that's not what they're saying. It's like, I don't care, that's what I hear. So to me, and I feel like that with a lot of our songs and lyrics. It's kind of open for interpretation. It makes you feel better that we're doing our job.
Well, one of the things I was curious about is you talk about reaching for like Deftones or reaching for your medicine. If you guys, you're pouring everything into this record and you're using it to sort of exercise these really complicated and difficult like experiences and thoughts, is there ever any concern or worry that when you go out to tour and you have to play these songs over and over and over again, does that help you process some of that emotion, or does that bring it back up?
Absolutely.
You know?
I mean, I have so much passion for what I do, and just, you know, Mastodon is my life. You know, this has taken me all over the world. I feel so lucky and appreciative of all our fans and people that have supported us over the 17 years that we've been the Mastodon family. You know, but when I get up on stage, I mean, there's no drug that can make you higher when you look in the front row and you see people singing along to your, you know, I've seen people crying. It's like crazy. I'm like, that makes me feel, I just get that burning butterfly in my stomach, and I'm like, I'm doing the right thing here. This is what it's all about, and you get this adrenaline rush when you're playing, and I just play harder, and I really sink my teeth into it and get into it.
Do you guys, I know you, the studio you recorded at was in Atlanta, so it was close to home. Do you think being at home to do something like this, do you think you could have done this record if you weren't? Do you think being that place helped because it's such a deeply personal record? Or?
I mean, it definitely, I think we could have done it wherever.
Done it anywhere.
I mean, no, I could have, because, because I was living and breathing every note, you know what I mean? Right. But it definitely helps to be home. We're you know, we're older dudes, and we've been doing this a long time, and we like to sleep in our own beds whenever possible. You know, when you're touring so much, it's like, you know, those moments at home, and especially with the whole theme, it's like you want to be there for your kids, be there for your wife, you know, stay at home as much as you can. So it definitely helped doing it. You know, we did it, half of it in LA, and most of it we did in Kennesaw, Georgia. Cool.
And you mostly demoed everything out at your space, right?
Yeah, we demoed everything basically, and really worked it into where we thought it couldn't go any further, you know, and then we had to call in like Brendan O'Brien to come in and put his Mastodon cap on and be a fifth member of the band, and really, we wanted to hear what he had to do and think about what we had come up with. So
he's a great. I mean, you guys worked with him before. Yeah, he's a legend. I saw a great quote where he was saying that Mastodon is this vocally driven band with 3 singers who don't want to sing in it, which I thought was
pretty
great.
much.
And in that same piece, he also had said that coming back to you guys, that he was really kind of taken aback with how far you had grown as musicians and what you were sort of capable of vocally. Was that something? You can hear that confidence on the tracks and in the record. Was that?
Well, he brings it out. You know?
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna ask. Is he pushing that and getting that from you? Yeah.
We're also pushing ourselves, because this is our 8 records into our career, and we're always trying to write a different, unique, and group of songs that we're all very proud of. We're not just out there wasting our time, you know, spitting out bullshit, just thinking our core fans are going to buy it up. Mm-hmm. And it kind of ties back to your question. If, you know, we channel this deep energy that we have into these songs, and we go out and play them 200 times live, it doesn't bring us down. It only rejuvenates. Like if I'm gonna leave the house for 200 days to play these songs, it's gotta fucking mean it up there on that stage, and I'm very proud to do it with my boys.
We have
and,
to like what we're playing, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, we know we're gonna have to play this song like 900 times. Like it better, you know, you don't want to be like, oh God, this song again. You know, you want to be 100% behind it. You know, it's just like a job that we love to do. We're lucky to be doing it.
Well, for sure, and like I said, I think that comes through, well, not just on this record, on all of your records, but on this one. And just to the point of being pushed, there were some moments that I thought were pretty incredible that sort of stood out. There's this, on Word to the Wise, there's this massive sound on the chorus, and there's like all these different textures. There's like a sound of like a tambourine or a bell that almost resembles chains that kind of like floats to the back, and then there's this sort of thick pad synth almost that's orchestral under it and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Are you guys consciously going in and knowing I want to layer, or is that being pushed too, or is it all give and take? It's all a team effort when you're in the box.
It's team effort, but we have a pretty good idea. I mean, we can really we have a pretty vast imagination. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like we can, when we're writing it, I could hear, oh, we got to have like, I can just imagine what Brendan's going to bring to the table. He's got every synthesizer and mellotron and organ, and he's very, he's amazing on the piano player or keyboard player. But we know when we work with him, he really makes the record like three-dimensional. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not just like a flat soundscape where you put on headphones and everything's EQ'd the same. We use many different I use a different guitar, tone, amp on almost every single track, layering stuff, you know, so that it sticks out and it sounds, you know, it's like a painting. And with Brendan adding all the ambient, the sounds and noises that are panning from left to right in the studio, it's almost like you're drawing a drawing and you're shading in, like, you know, over here on this side, so it's giving it another dimension. So when you hear it with your ears closed or your eyes closed, not your ears closed.
No, you open your ears.
Gotta have your ears
Close
open.
your eyes,
And you can hear, you know, you can kind of see. To me, I can see stuff like those little bells, like they kind of appear to me. I mean, maybe that's all the acid I did back in the '90s. But.
Well, no, I can say to that end, with what I would imagine a substantially smaller amount of acid done on my side, I'm listening to it. Just way less acid, I'm sure. Well, who knows, actually?
Why do you say that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, actually, honestly, who knows? It could be neck and neck. But when I'm listening to it, sans acid, and I'm sitting on the train and I'm riding it and my eyes are closed and I have the headphones on, it does paint this vivid picture. Like if you do close your eyes and just listen to it, you're transported and you can sort of see all these things placed around you and you're kind of surrounded by.
And that's when you know you've made a great record.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's another dimension in there. You know, you squeegee your middle eye. It's like, whoa, I'm seeing this crazy stuff and I'm not on drugs. You know what I mean? And that's, to me, that's like we're really doing our job that way.
For sure. Speaking of acid, your psychedelic side and the influence of Mastodon is a part that I always love when it kind of comes out and when it creeps into a track and when it's there. And there's a moment, Clandestiny, where I think you guys really lean heavily on the bridge into that side, and it's a lot of fun.
We call it the drugs part.
Yeah, the drugs part, exactly.
Seriously, that's what I said, like in the Pro Tools session, like, oh, drugs part.
Drugs part? Yeah, that's how you...
You know what I'm talking about, right? The drugs part. Yep, I do.
Of course, yeah. Is that the kind of thing that Brendan comes in and sort of highlights, or does he come in and sort of, you know, it'd be good here, you guys should put a drugs part here? Or no, you guys already sort of have all that mapped out?
I had so many ideas for what to do there, and, you know, I use Axe Effects a lot it's like a guitar simulator, amp simulator, and it's got a million effects built into it, and you can just switch through the presets, and I would just sit there, like, for an hour, 2 hours, and just try different psychedelic weird sounds, and just like, you know, just really bizarre stuff. And a lot of that stuff helped me. It was a tool to help me write a lot of that stuff as well. But I know when I've got it, I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds like some weird Pink Floyd, King Crimson weirdness. You know, sounds real analog. But yeah, to answer your question, Brendan did come in and what was that little piano thing, the harpsichord or whatever? Harpsichord. I mean, he had all kinds of ideas. You know, just putting weird textures on there, and I mean, there's just so many toys that we have these days that we have our hands on that we could make a great record, make all those sounds, you know, because we try to steal from we get that 70s vibe, you know, the dune buggy ride and smoking a joint and, like, you know, Pink Floyd's on, or, you know, we like all that stuff. Yeah,
for sure. You could feel that oozing through. With all of those toys and all of these, like, different options and things at your disposal, is it hard to know when the record's done and when the track is finished?
It can be. because it's like an unlimited potential. But I think we have we have our heads wrapped around, when it's too much, and certain things sound better stripped down. It's more powerful. So I think we try lots of things, and then we listen back and we just kind of vote. Is it you guys comfortable where that's at? Yes or no? And we kind of know.
Yeah, you can tell if there's too much effect or there's too much of a good thing. It's like we got to take some of that stuff back out. But we kind of, when we're writing, we kind of sing over everything. We put all the effects and all the guitars and all the drum fills and beats. We put it all there, and then you can always take stuff away like afterwards. It's like, okay, there's too much singing right here. Let's have a break, a musical break there. All right, too much drugs on the drugs part, not so much. Like maybe just some mushrooms, not total blotter. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Speaking of code, yeah. How do you guys make the decision with everyone being competent vocalists and like with their strengths? Like, how do you know? Oh, you're going to sing lead on this song, or you're going to take the.
We kind of we have the vocal tag team trio we've got going on. We kind of the three voices are very distinct, so the musical part kind of reveals who belongs there. And between our drummer Brent, and myself, we're very selfless. For example, if I write the lyrics, but Brent's voice sounds better, he does the part. Or if Braun writes the lyrics, but my voice fits, I do the part. And we don't have the attitude of, hey, I wrote it, so I'm singing it. We try to find whatever's greater, the greater good of the song. So it's a teamwork.
We kind of like let everybody can come up with their own. Here's the part. You come up with what you think the melody should be. Okay, here, give it to Braun. You come up with something, and then Troy, you come up with something. And then we all kind of listen back to each one and say, well, I like this out of that part and like this middle section out of that. And we kind of maybe combine. We're very open-minded when it comes to, it's never like, I wrote the part, I'm going to sing it.
Yeah, it's probably why you've been able to do it for 17 years.
Exactly. There's a lot of times you got to pick your battles. You got to bite your tongue, hold your tongue. You can bite it too.
It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts.
I always go over, especially with a band like you guys, so you'll forgive me, but we will get to audience Q&A, I promise. I wanted to ask real quick about the album art, which is so fucking badass. Look at this guy.
A little ominous.
It's intense.
That's the Emperor right there.
That is the Emperor himself.
You don't want to be around that guy.
Now, you always have incredible detailed album art. Is this your first time with this particular artist?
Yeah.
Medusa Wolf.
Medusa Wolf, that's right. I'm wondering, and I know this is like a really crazy and ambitious project to like even consider, but with such a detailed and like multifaceted sound on the album already, and with highly detailed art like this, has there ever been any thought given to the idea of like a la 1980s heavy metal movie, just like an animated, super intense like version of bringing the music to life?
Yeah, I think we'd be open to any idea along those lines. Yeah. We've had ideas to parallel our various concept records that we've done in the past to storylines for actual film. But it's easy up here to think that like, hey, that what we've written is going to be fantastic with the right cinematography, but it's not as easy to find some amazing filmmaker to have the time and the energy to do that with you. So it's a big dream we have, but we'll get there when we grow up one day.
All right, one day, yeah. Well, we'll be ready when it happens, man, for sure. All right, I'm going to ask one last question before we throw it over to the audience. So if you don't yet, get the wheel spinning. But I didn't even realize this. You guys were on Game of Thrones as wildlings?
Oh, yeah.
That blew, thank you for the what. All right, I don't think I need, just tell us about that experience, because you were in one of the most incredible scenes, too. Like, what was that like?
Well,
what was that day like?
It's because of my incredible acting skills that they chose me. Well, us, Well, yeah, what was it like? I mean, it was, I have a brand new respect for actors and acting because we went to Belfast, and right outside of Belfast where we did the filming at the quarry, we just basically what our acting day looked like was 8 hours of lay down in the snow, the fake snow. It was cold, it was wet. Lay down, and on the count of 3, you're going to stand up. And we just did that for 8 hours straight. And I was just like, wow. And I think when they finally showed that scene, you could see me and Brent, for maybe a split second. It's just like, oh, wow. I mean, that's a whole day. There's 1,000 of us out there.
Obviously, you're in the show. Obviously, you're fans. That's why you ended up there to begin with. Did you understand the context of the scene and the time that you were filming it, or are you just following direction?
No, we did.
Yeah, they explained to you, like...
They just told us that, I don't want to give anything away, but they told us what was going to happen. So they didn't tell us how it got there, but we could tell by what was going on in the background, because they're filming burning houses and basically a war scene was happening, a huge battle scene. But so we kind of put it together, but I was still very excited. I was just like, holy crap, I can't believe we're here. We're doing this.
Crazy, so surreal.
Yeah.
And you're watching it back on TV.
Watched it back on TV, showed my wife, showed my kids. They're just like, they're not impressed by anything these days. They're just like, yeah, big deal. You can't.
Awesome.
Can't be a cool dad.
Well, I'm not your kid, but I was impressed. I'll tell you that. I thought it was cool as shit.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's that time, guys. We're going to turn it over to the audience. First question goes to whoever has the mic right here, front row.
Hey, guys. Good evening. Killer interview. So I love a good rock and roll story, and I know you guys have been on the road for a very long time. What's the most metal thing that you've ever experienced?
Metal thing? We drank that goat's blood with Slayer. That was...
Oh, yeah, we sacrificed that virgin at one time in the back lounge. Oh, wait, I can't talk about that.
That story was complete BS until you said with Slayer. And then I was like, well, hey, that
No, I'm not here to lie. I've already bummed you guys out enough, right, with our devastation of storyline for our records. No, that was metal.
I think it was when I ate that whole cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory. All by myself.
kicked
Also with
out.
Slayer. Also with Slayer.
With Slayer, yeah.
Love cheesecake, those guys. They love it.
They do.
Metal moments. I was hit in the face with a giant hot sausage with spicy mustard, and the sausage broke right in my nose. The sausage broke over my nose, and the spicy mustard went right into my eyeballs, and it broke up into several pieces and landed on my pedal board below me. And it took me a few seconds to realize what had happened, and it burned. And then I was impressed that they sold spicy sausages at our concert. So I became impressed instead
All
of
this
upset.
while playing the bass.
And someone's probably spent, I don't know, $8, $9 on a giant sausage with brown spicy deli mustard. Their loss, That's not very metal, but it hurt.
Next question goes to...
Hi. So this question's actually just for Troy, because I'm
Yes.
curious.
Yes.
I know that your other band, Gone Is Gone, came out with their album this year as well.
Yes.
So my question is, how did the conception of each album kind of differ? And maybe was one easier than the other? Maybe you favored one over the other?
It's kind of
Not to
like
put you on the spot, but...
No. It's a good thing. Yeah, it's like a different vacation, having a different band. And we all play in other bands, and I think it's very healthy to play with other musicians. Mastodon is the steed, is the horse. We're back on the Mastodon horse, and it's been that horse for 17 years. But when we have the time to jam with other people and do our other projects and stuff, I think it's great and it's healthy and it's a really cool camaraderie and different adventure and different scenery. It's like going to a different beach. All beaches are great, but different sights, different smells.
Different smells.
Yeah.
Beach smells.
Yeah.
So it's just different with different people, how you collaborate, even if you get together and you do a photo shoot or if you do a painting or whatever. Different energy with other people. It's unique. It's good stuff.
Awesome. I think we have time for one more question.
All right, guys. It's me.
Hey,
Nice to see you
And,
again, man.
Nice to see you too.
Nice to meet you.
what's up, bro?
So I have a question for all three of you guys. It's pretty selfish of me, but I'm going to ask it. So throughout your whole Mastodon career, this is for you, Troy, your voice, your vocals have sort of went from, very rough and roary to sort of more melodic. I was wondering why the transition kind of happened. I love both iterations of your voice. I love your smooth vocals. I think it happened mostly from Blood Mountain onward. And it sort of balanced out, especially when Brent started doing more vocals and stuff. And also to you, it's funny that you mentioned the band does not want to have a lead singer. You're the last one to have their own sort of discography of own single records of you singing main vocals, except for maybe your bonus tracks on The Hunter, I believe. You did a little bonus, and when you're doing live...
No, I usually only, if I sing, it's live, because in the studio, we've got 3 dudes already singing, and I'm like, you guys can handle that, but sometimes live, I have to pick up, if there's anywhere I can pick up, because in the studio, we do a lot of singing. Yeah. Sometimes there's even more singing tracks than there are people singing them, you know what I mean, because you can layer and overdub and all that stuff, so, live, I try to sing as much as I can.
You have a unique voice when you're live. It's a really crazy growl you have when you're live, and I really
Because
appreciate
I'm angry.
that. Yeah,
Very
you do it a
angry.
lot on.
Usually he's hungry.
That's
Or
it's
hungry.
his stomach that's growling. It's
Angry?
not really.
One
It's not
informs
really.
the other.
So I was wondering if we would sort of get some more of that. Maybe if you explore. I don't know if it happens in Emperor Sand or not, but if you explore a little bit more vocal, because I really do enjoy your vocals. And also, I have a question for you, sir. You heard the entire album. I was
Yeah.
wondering if you had a favorite track that you can talk about.
I knew that was coming, and I was looking up.
likes
I
them
wrote
all.
the title. I'll go first because
long.
mine's easy. I really there's a chorus on Andromeda, which I really really dug, and it's like super. It feels like you guys are kind of pushing yourself vocally. There's a lot happening around there.
Yeah.
And I really dug that moment, and that was great.
Cool.
thank
And
you.
that kind of ties in with your question to me is our earlier records when we were broke and working 60 hours a week and living on each other's floors, the music was just angrier and more aggressive. So to put aggressive vocals on that was just kind of, it was simple and it was easy to do. After 7 years, we were hoping to not scream 200 nights a year because that gets old, and we were started to find more music melody. And all of our favorite songs are something that can stick in your head, and the next day you're reminded of it, and it's in you. So we wanted to find more melody. So we passed several records, and this one more importantly, over the past 10 years now since Blood Mountain, we've paid extra attention to finding the best, not only lyrical subject matter, but the vocal melodies, and whose voice is best for the part, because we're trying to make good songs that we think are really good. And we've definitely paid more attention because we all play instruments, so we feel like we're players first, but we've spent more time and energy each and every record over the past 10 years trying to up the vocals and really have something that's meaningful and powerful and that's not cheesy and that can stick in your head in a great way.
Yeah, you can't always have like crazy guitar parts and then like beautiful singing over it. It's like kind of either almost one or the other in a lot of stuff. And I think the stuff that we've been, like Troy said, writing, as of lately, the past 10 years or whatever, we've kind of gravitated more to writing and really thinking. Ever since we started working with Brendan O'Brien, really is when we started. He's like, you don't have to play. So everyone knows you're a great guitar player, you're a great drummer. You don't have to play a million fills a second. You can slow down and just play a straight beat. And we kind of took that and ran with it. It's like, okay, well, maybe this. Maybe the verse of the song is just a couple chords and it's not 50 chords and playing as fast as you can. Maybe we slow it down a little bit and like concentrate more on what are we trying to say and what are the vocals, what's the melody of the song? Because without melody, what do you really got? A bunch of screaming. We kind of outgrew that, so here we are.
Well, guys, I have to let you go. I want to thank everybody for their questions. I want to thank you for coming and hanging out with us and for this incredible album, Emperor of Sand, March 31st, guys. Mark your calendars. It's worth the wait. I promise you that. You got a bunch of tour dates starting in April, I think. So
We do. We're going to take this shindig on the road.
That's right. You guys are out with the Eagles of Death Metal and Russian
Circles.
Circles, right? That's
Yes,
gonna be
sir.
a hell of a show, for Christ's sake. That's
Yes,
amazing.
it is.
Guys, one more time, make some noise. Mastodon right here, man. Incredible.